Here is example 1 of using the square root method to solve a quadratic equation. So here we want to solve t squared minus 64 equals 0 for t. So solution, this is already in standard form, so we don't have to worry about putting this in standard form. It's given to us like that, that's great. And we can identify a is 1, b is 0, and c is negative 64. So a is 1 because t squared really just means 1 times t squared. And b is 0 because there's no linear term, there's no term with just plain old t on it. And c is negative 64. So since b is 0, that means we can use the square root method, so we just want to verify that real quick. So that's going to work, that's great. So let's go ahead and do it. T squared minus 64 is 0. And now we add 64 to both sides because remember, we want to get the variable squared all by itself on one side. Now we take the square root of both sides, and remember, we talked about those subtle details in the previous video, and those are the subtle details we're going to skip now. And we can go straight from this step to say t is therefore plus or minus the square root of 64, and the square root of 64 is just 8. Therefore, t is plus or minus 8, and those are the solutions to the equation. T equals plus or minus 8. So just a little side note real quick, the discriminant is capital D equals b squared minus 4ac. If we plug in our a, b, and c values, we get 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 64, which is positive 256, which is greater than 0. And because the discriminant is positive, we expect the equation to have two distinct real solutions, which it does, positive 8 and negative 8.